All right, so here we go. We are back in business. Now, we wanted to talk about, I wanted to bring up, so, all right, let me tell you the story, right? So, back, really back towards like the second episode, I was supposed to talk about all the, injectables, right?
Yeah.
And at the time, it's because I think that's right when Ozempic really was like,
Everywhere.
it was blowing up. And I mean, I guess it's still really widely available, right? It's out there. But this is when it first started to blow up, and everybody was like, "Oh, are they on Ozempic? Or the celebrities are on Ozempic?
Yeah.
Everybody's on Ozempic. How you get it? Like, you can't. Insurance ain't going to pay. Blah 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 blah. All these things." And I remember, because at the time, I mean, needless to say, there's so many clients that came up to me and was just like, "Is this something for me?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Ooh." So my mind has changed so much on it, back and forth, so many times that I couldn't actually do the episode. Because one day I was getting ready to say, like, yo, no, man, stay away from those injectables because they're bad. But then I'm just like, but wait, actually it's about like kind of like outcomes. What are the outcomes of the people who are taking this stuff?
Yeah.
And it was just like, well, if you have diabetes, there were some pretty positive outcomes there. And I'm just like, all right, do a little bit more research. And then I come back and I'm like, you know what? They're all good for you. This is good. That's good. Go do it all, right? Or it's just like, wait, okay. But then you get back, there are some side effects.
Yep.
And I'm just like, oh, bruh, okay. So I couldn't do the episode then. And then I'm just like, you know what, though? I have this idea about any injectable, and I can't shake from my mind, and this is at that time, I can't shake from my mind the idea of like juicing up, taking steroids in bodybuilders who are dying at 40.
Not cool.
Not cool at all. But then I was just like, so I can't say they're all good,
Yeah.
and I can't say they're all, and I can't even really put them all in the same category.
Yeah.
I'm like, but man, I should say something about this, but I never, at least then, could arrive at a conclusion that would actually offer anything to anyone. And then I was like, well, since I'm gonna have Dr. C on there, and then because I'm also, well, right now I'm taking a little bit of a break, but also experienced peptide therapy myself, then things changed.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, okay, no, I'm gonna bring them on, because and then we will talk about it and we will break it down, because there's some good points, there's some drawbacks.
Yep.
But that's with anything. So I said this in the previous episode. A lot of these health things, especially when it deals with the injectables, it's about like trade-offs,
Yeah.
right? So sure, you're at risk for this if you take that, but if it's curing that, it's kind of a net win.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just like, outside of, diet, exercise, all proper
lifestyle
sleep
things.
and all that fun stuff, right? Like, all things being equal, it's pretty much about trade-offs.
Yep.
And then I'm just like, okay, all right, so then how do I explain that? All right, so that's where this whole conversation really started to kind of like, it was like a metamorphosis of sorts, right? It started off as one thing where I was about to blast everybody. Oh, y'all running to Ozempic. Y'all some suckers. Like, no. But then it was just like, oh, man, but look at all the people who are really, like, their health is changing because of it. Yeah. And I will never forget. So I had this one and I'll let you, I'll get us to the actual point here, right? Yeah. But I had this one conversation with this one client, and she was telling me, like, because we always thought the same thing about, we mentioned COVID and the COVID vaccines. And one thing that I was super disappointed with was they would put out all of these guidelines for if you caught COVID. They would put out all these guidelines for the vaccines, but they failed to mention up until very, very late that it had a 99% survival rate if you don't have any of these comorbidities.
Yeah.
But also, all of the comorbidities are avoidable through diet and exercise.
Yeah.
And they didn't say anything about that until super, super late. Until where it's just like, oh, we already shut down all the gyms, but maybe it's a good idea to go to the gym.
Yeah.
And then just like, wait, so y'all didn't make that a part of your official guideline when the main people who were dying had some heart condition.
Yep.
And it was just like, I was livid. So we were talking about that. And she was just like, yeah, so, that really changed, like we were talking about before earlier, that changed the idea of health and of health care. And people started taking the control of their own health.
Yep.
But it also changed the idea of a lot of these medications, a lot of these vaccines, a lot of these things. So unfortunately, the COVID vaccine got lumped in with a lot of injectables. It got lumped in with a lot of other medications and things like that. Not all of them are bad, though. Right? So that's where we get into, like, okay. And that's honestly where my hesitation was when I originally was talking to you. And it's just like, look, I might want to do a show. I might not. But honestly, I just want better. Like, I know something's wrong on the inside.
Better. Yes.
And then you came up with the plan. It was like, you already knock out. And that's the kicker. That's the kicker. And I know we'll get to it. I had all the check boxes checked.
Yep.
Sleep,
exercise,
nutrition, hydration, all of it. It was all checked. I was happy. all of it was checked. Something was still wrong.
Yep.
I was not recovering. And come to find out, like I told you all before, it was like it was surgery, messed up my gut. Then there was some kidney stuff going on. I was taking so much ibuprofen, it wasn't even funny. And so much, was it Oxy? Yeah. Yes, and then I had to stop that because I was getting weird, and then there was some other the hydrocodone that I was popping like candy, and the pain was bulldozing through it.
Yep.
And it's so funny after talking, because I just had another thought after talking about the connection between the pain and emotions and all that fun stuff. I would not be surprised if most of that pain was more emotional in nature.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I was going through some things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and those medicines kind of just numb your emotions. You kind of just, it helps you to just not, sometimes not so much the physical pain. It's just that you just numb.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So it became a little risky. So I had to stop it. But then I was hawking ibuprofen like it were M&Ms. Like I was just like, but that jacked me up.
Yep.
So all this I'm saying, and I guess it's a really long-winded introduction to here right now. We want to have the official Scowl Method injectables talk, right? Now that I have a little bit more experience too, right? So let's continue on with the story a little bit. I came to you.
Yep.
All the boxes checked, and you suggested a few peptides. Actually, it was humanin, thymosin beta 4, and CJC. CJC epimorelan, right? And let me pull back a little bit. What was your thought process there?
So the very thing you talked about is really, even when people are doing all the right things, there's a lot of times, depending on whatever stresses you've gone through to your body, whether it's medication, whether it's surgery, some part of the system become attack, okay? And then the body just down-regulates to a level so you survive, okay? So it's all about adaptation of the cell.
Yeah.
So you are on antibiotics, all of these things, and your body's like, okay, I'm just going to perform here. I can't perform this way because when I perform this way, I'm going to create more waste. I'm going to create more stress on the body, so I'm comfortable here, okay? So when you came to me and you were already a person, the very thing you talk about, you were exercising, you're a trainer, you're dialing. I mean, psychologically, you're intact, you have good mind, all of those things. So I said, you are really going to do well with peptides. All we need is to give your body some support. Really, it's kind of stuck in a space where the cells have just downregulated to here. No matter what you're doing, I'm not going up because I don't know what's going to happen when I go up, okay? So your body is trying to survive here. So if we can bring in some things that actually allows you to repair a little bit more, allow your cells to become more efficient, it's all about energy.
Yeah.
Okay. So when it comes to really overall health, a simple thing that people can take away is that It's all about the energy of the system. If your cells have enough energy, it take care of itself. It can fix immune function, it can fix the gut, all of those things. So it's all about energy. So when you came to me, the idea was, let's get your cells to become more efficient at making energy. Let's get you to get to delta sleep, because even sometimes, because your body have downregulated, even when you're sleeping, you're not getting into the deep sleep that your body needs.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, let's bring that on. Let's get to delta sleep. Let's get your body to make its own growth hormones. Let's get your body to start repairing. Let's get your mitochondria to start making energy. So those were all the things that we're thinking about. And then the thymosin beta 4 was kind of like, you were complaining of a lot of soreness. So we wanted to kind of help a way to kind of calm down the inflammation, get your body to heal a little faster. Even that's also good for the gut.
Yeah.
So there was all of this other pleiotropic or other benefit that comes from just one peptide.
Yeah.
So that was the idea. It's like, okay, once we get you there, I think you're gonna do great. I knew you were gonna do great. I mean, I just knew it because you were already a healthy person.
Yeah.
So and then we put you on, and you took your time with it.
Yeah.
You researched it, and
Yeah.
then you tried it, and then
Yeah.
we saw some difference.
Yeah. And let me tell you, I'll tell y'all straight up, humanin. Oh,
Yes.
oh man. I don't know what or how, but I felt like I was like 22, and it was. And here's the best part about it is, it's like, it's not a drug.
No.
So it doesn't have one of those things where it's just like, okay, you're only good while taking it. Like, I still feel good. Right? And the thing is, it's like, so of course there's different goals now, and there's different goals that I can, like, here's the thing. I didn't even have access to that certain level of thinking because I was just in survival mode, right?
Yep.
So I needed all that stuff to get repaired. Now that it's all repaired and good to go.
You see like how far you can go.
Exactly. And
Yep.
just this is me, I got to test it. I got to see, well, can I get there? All right, bet. Let's see if I can get there.
Yeah.
And if I get there, then let's see if I can get there, right? That's just the way I operate, because there's always more. There's always more.
There's always more.
There's
Yeah.
always more. For as long
Yeah.
as we're here alive, there's always more.
Yep.
And that's a mindset thing. That's a vibe unto itself.
The growth mindset.
Yeah. There's always
Or
more.
the lack mindset.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it was just so interesting because, like, my reservations, or you knew my reservations that I had about peptides. I was just like, bruh, but like,
Yeah.
it's like steroids, but it's not. Like, and I
It is
even
not.
know what they are, but it was like, I know they're not steroids, but I'm having a hard time jumping that hurdle mentally to get to the point where it's just like, well, I'm taking peptides like the bobblehead who took Ozempic. And it was just hard. It was hard. But as my health markers improved,
Yeah.
then it was just like, oh, okay, well,
And then you could also validate for yourself. You realize that you could push more, you can do
Yeah.
all of these things, and you were feeling better, and
Yeah.
all these things that you couldn't do before, you were able to. And all it is just a little help
yeah,
that you needed. And if you are not healthy,
Yeah.
if you were not like exercising and you didn't have all of these other things,
It wouldn't have worked.
it wouldn't be the same. So that's the point, that these things, peptides, injectables, whatever they are, they don't work in vacuum.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That's a big point. So let's dig there real quick, right? Because a lot of people expect, like, I could just go get Ozempic now because they're handing it out like candy now, right now. I could just go get that. I lose the weight. I don't need to exercise.
That's the wrong thing to do, and we already know. So when you talk about, drugs in general, even for me as a doctor, right? I'm a pain doctor. My background in pain. None of the medicine I prescribe really help anybody with overall health. Okay, I can give you gabapentin, I can give you ibuprofen, I can
Yeah.
give you opioids, all of these things. They don't really solve anything else. But I also know that even when I put that medicine in somebody who's healthy, their outcomes are way better than somebody who's not healthy. Okay, and one of the things that is a really sad thing to see in medicine is that when doctors give people or patients drugs and don't educate them about what they can do to actually make that drug work a lot better for them or mitigate potential side effects. Okay,
Right.
you talked about side effect.
Yeah.
So when it comes to Ozempic, and in fact, I will tell you this, as a pain doctor and in my experience, I'll probably say That's the one peptide. It's a peptide. Okay. And then first of all, we have to actually go back and maybe define peptide for people to
I
understand.
was just getting ready to say that.
Yes.
Yep, go for it.
So peptides are basically, or a simple way to understand it is when it comes to how we use medicines or pharmacology to address health or sickness, we have different subclasses. So we have, supplements. We can give you supplements. We can give you medications or small molecules. So small molecules are all the drugs that pharmaceutical companies make that your body doesn't make.
Right.
Okay. So they're called small molecules. So aspirin, metformin, your body doesn't make that.
Yeah.
And then there's also peptides. And peptides are a class of pharmacological agents that actually is something that your body makes. Okay, so it's trying to kind of replace what your body already makes. So it's very similar to what your body. And then from there, you get biologics and some other things like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So peptides are just amino acid sequence that your body put together, and it helps to communicate a specific function.
Got
Okay?
it. Yep.
And a simple way that I try to get people to understand what peptides are is that, for example, when somebody have diabetes and their body is not making insulin is a peptide. We can give you insulin as an injectable, and then that directs your cells to be able to take in glucose. Okay, so that's
Yep.
a simple way to look at it. So because it's something that your body actually makes, peptides tend to be tend to have less side effect.
Yeah.
Okay. So jump into Ozempic, and there's tons of peptides, and we can talk about some of those things.
Yeah.
So Ozempic is actually a peptide that you make in your gut when you eat. Okay. Everybody makes Ozempic. You make it when you eat. But when you make Ozempic, it spends about 2 minutes. And then you have this enzyme that comes in and break it down, and it goes away. Okay? That's the normal physiology. So what we have is being able to take that same structure of the Ozempic and extend the half-life of it so it stays there a little bit longer. And it's been shown to have multiple impact by slowing down how things goes in. People actually feel fuller. It also controls, it has multiple things. It also controls your insulin production, glucagon, it controls inflammation. It has all of this benefit. And it's basically the simplest way to look at how it's working is it's improving metabolism. And metabolism is basically how your body makes energy. And I talk about the fact that it's all about energy of the cell. So if you can improve energy of any system of your cell, you can improve inflammation. You can improve longevity. You can improve cardiac health. You can improve all of those things. So the weight loss is actually just a side effect of the drug, okay? When you're using it the right way, looking at all the other benefits. But when people are just doing Ozempic, taking it just for the weight loss, and they're not doing the exercise, they're not dialing the nutrition, you're creating more problems. Okay? So it's all about optimizing the system so that that drug actually works a lot better. And this is where people need guidance.
Yeah.
So if your own goal is like, I just want to lose weight, and you don't want to do exercise, you don't want to do anything, those are the people that have issues.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And because even the things that you want to eat, when you're doing that drug, you can't eat all the junk that you were doing before.
Right.
So it actually gets people to change their habit. There's people who don't want to do that.
Right.
If you drink, you're going to feel horrible.
Yeah.
If you eat like fatty food, you're not going to feel great. So there's all of these things that people have to pay attention to, and they don't. So it's all about really getting guidance and having an expert who can explain to you, what are we doing with this drug? And
Yeah.
there are side effects.
Yeah.
Even if it's a peptide that's actually good for you, your body makes it, there are still side effects. People have a lot of issues with vision. People have issues with constipation, ileus, all of these other problems. And if you go to a doctor who understands how to optimize overall health, you don't have any of those things.
Right.
I've been doing this for a little bit longer than even before it became such a popular thing, because it's a peptide, and I've been in a peptide space for some time now.
Yeah.
So I was actually using it to treat pain because I understand cellular pathways. Okay.
Really?
It modulates inflammation. So I have a lot of patients who have autoimmune issues.
Oh.
So I'm using a small dose. So it's not the same dose to lose weight.
Yeah.
But a dose that controls inflammation, so they don't have to be on steroids and they don't have to be on biologics because they can't tolerate it. So there's all this cellular mechanism. And I think the difference between, myself and other doctors out there is when I went to this conference and I started focusing on the cell has all this intelligence. A lot of things that we do in medicine, it's like your cell is going to decide what to do with it.
Yeah.
Supplements and all of these things people take. If your body doesn't need it, it doesn't use it.
Right.
So really get into this place where you respect that intelligence and how you do it right. And it's all about optimize things, get things to be better, and the cell will decide what to do with it. So it can be good for pain, because I understand cellular pathways. It can be good for insulin. It can be good for mood. It can also be good for habit change. Because one of the things that also Ozempic does is actually works on the hypothalamus.
Yeah.
So people can just go, you know what? I don't think I need that bite.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of times people just eat. They have this food noise and they're just eating, not even pay attention. Sometimes we don't even need the food, right?
Yeah.
It's just in front of you and you just eat. But by that, but when they have Ozempic on board, they actually kind of like, I don't think I need that.
Yeah.
Okay. Or they go, you know what? I don't think I need a second drink. Yeah. And actually, it's been helpful for people to kind of change their habits. So for me, I think it's a great drug, and I'll probably say it's like one of the best drugs that I've seen in my lifetime. But it needs to be managed by somebody who understands how it actually works.
Yep.
And is going to work better when you're doing the right things with nutrition,
right,
exercise, sleep, and all the things that we talk about.
It's best when treated, and I'm just from what you're gathering, it's best when treated as an enhancement to what you're already doing.
Absolutely.
Got it.
And going to places where doctors actually understand how these medicines work. Because it's something that, people, because we're in America, we have so much obesity because of the food and the environment, and everybody's looking for these things, and they go anywhere and they go, skinny shot, come get a skinny shot. Don't go to a place and get a skinny shot.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's not what the point. I hear a lot of these places where, you go and they're like, oh, we got a skinny shot for you. No.
They're popping up everywhere.
No. So you want to really go to a place where we are talking about, first of all, why are you obese? Okay, it's habit. There's other things why people eat. There's all these other traumas and other things that influence. We talk about the decisions.
Yep.
Where is it coming from, right? We all know that we're supposed to eat in moderation. Why do we do excess? Okay?
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's other things there. So if you don't address those things and you're just taking Ozempic, you're going to get back there.
Right.
And a lot of people lose weight and they gain it.
Right, you gain it
Why?
right back.
Because they don't change their habits and they don't have the decision. So
Yeah.
It's about really getting to a physician who is going to help you optimize everything else, and then the Ozempic becomes like something that helps you
Just
get to where you need to
get
be.
you going, right?
Yeah.
And now, when you say Ozempic, do you mean semaglutide?
Yeah, so when we
Okay.
say Ozempic, semaglutide. So
Right.
when we talk about, so it's actually GLP-1. So it's called GLP-1 receptor agonist. That's kind of like the name for it. But
Yeah.
we have Ozempic, we have Mounjaro.
Yeah.
So Mounjaro is the same as tirzepatide.
Yep.
They have different names. So there's GLP-1 and there's GLP and GIP.
Yeah.
And even now there's something called retatrutide, which is actually three.
Oh, that's new. I didn't hear that
Three
one.
agonists, and there's even a fourth one coming. So they keep coming up with all of these things. Okay,
What?
and the retatrutide has glucagon, so it's actually supposed to
Yeah.
be very good for preserving muscles.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And then there's also a lot of discussions about even because pharma is always looking for we have a Ozempic, people lose muscle, so let's make a drug that will build muscle as another way to. But no, people just need to exercise and people need to eat protein because it's not. That's not what we're going after.
Exactly. Yeah, it's interesting. So I've seen more than a few studies that the tirzepatide is being used for former drug addicts.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wait, what? And in multiple studies though,
Yeah.
like
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so break that down real quick.
Everybody's using it. I mean, the psychiatrists are using it because it helps to kind of tell the brain to pause
Yeah.
before it makes decision.
What?
Okay,
That's
so it helps
interesting.
the brain to pause
Yeah.
to make decision and decision towards better decisions. People go, you know what? I don't think I want this alcohol. I actually have people that stopped smoking from being Ozempic. They just didn't feel good and it just didn't taste good. And then once they just stop doing it, go like, I don't need it anymore. And then there's a lot of people who also like, I don't care for the wine because a lot of people have all these other habits that
Yeah.
influence where they get to and they don't connect the dots, right?
Yeah.
They drink a lot of wine before they go to bed. First of all, they're not sleeping very well. If you're not sleeping very well, you're not making growth hormones, you're not making all of these things that can metabolically help you even lose the weight.
Yeah.
So by kind of backing away from all of those things, then the benefit is coming, a lot of it is coming from what your body is doing. Now your body can make energy efficiently. Now your body can sleep. You can do all of these things. An example of that is, people will do like carnivore diets or whatever and they feel great. Well, the reason why they feel great is not just because of the carnivore diet. They stop drinking all this processed food and everything else. It's the elimination of other things. So there's all of these other things that are going on that
You
actually
get people yelling at you.
well, we can get into that because I can tell you right now, I'm not like definitives with things.
Yeah.
But it's, you're not designed to just put carnivore things in. You need a combination of things for the whole
Yeah.
system to work. You're gonna feel better in the short term.
Yeah.
Long term, if you're looking for longevity, that's not what it is.
Yeah.
And all it is like because they refuse to eat all this other junk. And I've,
He said it.
yes, because if you're doing carnivore diet,
Yeah.
what is it? You can do processed food. You can do ice cream. You
Right.
can do all of these things that people do. And actually, I'm part of I guess it's coming up, and maybe we can talk about it. There's a Netflix thing that we're doing with a whole study.
Oh, yeah.
And I was part of that whole process. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, and the guy was monitoring everything else, and he couldn't drink beer, he couldn't do this, he couldn't do that.
Yeah.
He lost weight within a short period of time.
Yeah.
He felt great. Everything was improving. Why? Because now he's not eating pizza. He's not eating this.
He
He's not doing
eliminated
that.
all the bad stuff.
Eliminating all the bad stuff. So
Yeah.
that's where the goodness comes from. But you also need things for the microbiome. You're
Yep.
not just eating for yourself.
Yeah.
Okay? So it does make you feel better. If you want to live longer, you want to eat everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my take on it.
Yeah, no, that's a good point because you know what's going around now is that the carnivore diet it's the new hot thing. They seem to rotate, right?
Yeah.
You know, remember back in the day it was the Atkins, and then all of a sudden it went paleo, and
Exactly,
then keto
man.
is the jam, and now all of a sudden it's like carnivore. I'm just going to eat meat, and it's just like
Yeah.
it healed everything. It's just like, so it's a really good point.
It's just
that
the
people don't
elimination of
realize.
the other things that helped. It wasn't just
Exactly.
because we're eating meat.
Yeah.
You refuse to eat the other processed food and everything else. And that's what it is. If people can just eliminate those things, they can eat carnivore and they can eat everything else. If you
Yeah.
can eat healthy, you're actually going to feel the same way
Yeah,
too.
that is a really, really good point. Really good point because and it's going to rotate.
Yep.
You know, it's going to rotate again. It'll be back on keto again at some point in time. And, but that's really interesting. So we get to the peptides in general. Should all of them be used as enhancements to what you're doing, or are there some that are like, hey, look, break glass in case of emergency type peptides, right? Like how are they organized in groups, or how does that go?
Yeah, so maybe peptides comes in different forms.
Yeah.
Okay? And I think we can talk about peptides in the context of performance. So like people that are exercising, people that you see and they work out. So we have specific peptides that we use to really help with recovery, build muscle, and also help lose some fat.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're working out, as we age, and these are peptides are actually things that you have, but as we age, the whole reason why we kind of even have to bring these things in is like, as we age, you make these peptides and they start going down.
Yeah.
You don't make as much growth hormones anymore, right? We have infections, we have stress, all of that influence the body's ability to create these things. So this becomes something that we give to people to help them get their cells to become optimized in a way that it can function, that it doesn't have the resources or whatever to do it.
Right.
And I use it for a specific period of time. So for example, CJC epimorelin, which is a growth hormone releasing hormone and a growth hormone releasing peptide, you don't want to do that for a long time, okay? Because it's binding to a receptor in your body and you don't want to keep binding to that receptor. Then the receptor, your body is always smarter.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's why I talk about the intelligence of the cell. Too much of anything is not good for the cell. The cell is just going to get rid of it. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So for something like that, you do it for a period of time, and there's always stacking depending on what people's goals are. Okay. So you do it for some time, and then you back away from it, and you can stack it with other mitochondria. Mitochondria peptides are very, very helpful in so many ways because it's all about energy. So we talk about humanin as one mitochondria peptide that. It's your favorite,
It's
right?
my favorite.
It's your favorite. There's also another peptide called MAT-SC.
That's actually
very
the
good.
first peptide I've heard of.
Okay, so
Yeah.
MAT-SC is a good one, but it's also good for metabolism. And in fact, before those things were available, and we took them away from the FDA, but I was using MAT-C, Ozempic, and something called AAD 9608. That was so good for like helping people lose weight. They have energy because it's also working on the mitochondria.
Yeah.
Okay? So there's also another one called SS31, which is mitochondrial peptide. So there's peptides specifically for mitochondria to help the body to make energy efficiently. There's peptide that helps you with muscle. So tesamorelin can also help with muscle growth. There's peptide that helps fix the gut or immune issues. So there's thymosin alpha 1, it's an immune peptide. Thymosin beta 4, lorazepatide. What other ones are there? There's other peptides that I can't think of, but there's also peptides in the class of immune modulation because we don't want to suppress immune cells. A lot of the medications that we have to treat people that have autoimmune issues, immunosuppressants.
Yeah.
They suppress the whole immune system. So what did they tell you? Oh, you have a risk of infection, risk of cancer, risk of this, because the immune system has lost surveillance, okay? So we want to use peptides that are actually immune modulatory, meaning we just giving the cell the information it needs to be able to decide, do I need to suppress or do I need to keep it high, okay? So that's immune modulatory peptides. And then we also even have peptides for sexual health. There's PT141. We have peptides that can also help improve testosterone production, and we can get into a little bit of that also. So there's something called kisspeptin that will stimulate your anterior part of the brain, pituitary, to get your body to make a little bit of that. So there's, and then obviously we have the the peptide for metabolic health, which is the Ozempic and the Mounjaro and all of those things. So there's different classes of peptides, and it all depends what you're working on.
Yeah.
Okay. There's
Yeah.
BPC 157, which is very good for healing, and a lot of times it becomes what is your problem and how do we use it to address your problem. When do you use it? So there's an art and science to peptides.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people who just out there and just like, oh, let's just stack this up. Let's take this up.
Let's
There's
just go get it. Yeah.
No, you
Yep.
want to fix a certain problem first. If you're not sleeping well, let me get you to sleep well. Let's calm down inflammation before we give you a regenerative peptide.
Right.
So there's all of these nuances that are in there, and I think it helps. Again, to the point we're saying, if you're doing the peptides, you got to exercise. You got to
Yep.
do all of those things.
Yeah, you still have to have the foundation.
You need to have the
place,
foundation
right?
to make it work.
It's very similar to physical fitness, right?
Yeah.
The training, where it was like, look, I get you. You want to lose weight, cool. We could do all this stuff, but real talk, if you're not hydrating and you're not getting enough sleep,
Yeah.
you're gonna make it hard on yourself.
Absolutely.
right?
Injure yourself.
Now, there's a possibility we can still get there, but it would be much easier if you hydrate it, right?
Yeah.
But then there's always this, and this is just it. I mean, it's everywhere, but it's really prevalent in the fitness industry to jump to that first supplement that you can get to without really knowing if you need it or not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I'm saying that because that brings up the value that guys like you provide,
Yeah.
right? That it's a little bit more nuanced than just straightforward, like, oh, I'm gonna get my peptides from you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
It's a little bit more nuanced than that. It's like, hey, do you even need it?
Need it. Exactly.
You know, and it's just like, but I don't know what happened. And I blame the fitness industry.
Yes, and in fact, the other thing too that's relevant for people to understand is a lot of these peptides are actually animal studies.
Yeah.
Okay, they have
Yeah.
not really been shown to do a whole lot in humans.
Right.
And one of them is follistatin. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's like, so follistatin is a peptide that
I have heard of
it's
it.
a big
Yeah.
in the
Yep.
fitness industry because it blocks myostatin, so it helps you kind of ideally build muscle. But it's in animal studies. It hasn't really been shown to do that, but people still take it. And
They get black market versions
they,
of it.
they do, which is not great. But
Yeah.
do you know what else you can do to your body can make follistatin?
Yeah.
Compounded exercise.
Yeah.
Multiple squats, lifting weights, pushing ups. Your body can do all of these things. You know?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not just taking that. If I can give you something that helps you to recover faster, then you can do more of it.
Yeah.
Okay. If I give you CJC and I give you humanin and you can do all of that, I don't need to give you follistatin.
Right.
Because your body can actually make it. But the good thing is now I've given you the foundation that you can even do more of this compounded weight
Yeah.
and recover faster and not have an issue. So
Yeah.
there is multiple ways to signal these pathways, and it becomes really, and I've spent time, and how I do things have changed, right? Because when you start, this is what you know, and then as you
You
go
learn
through
more.
and all
Yep,
of that stuff,
yep.
you keep changing things and move things around. So a lot of peptides out there. Not all of them have been shown to make a difference in human, and they're expensive. Some of them coming from the black market. And the thing that people need to know is you don't want to buy peptide online because a lot of those actually is going to stay on there. This is not designed for human use, okay? So there's no way that you can, it's just for animal use. A lot of people just
Yeah.
go and buy this because they've read about it or somebody talk about them on a podcast.
Oh.
Okay, a lot of the things with the pop, people in their own little space, and I see why, because the very point that you were making, people don't trust doctors.
Yep.
There's not of doctors who are out there educating about these things or talking to them, and when they go and ask the doctor about it, they just dismiss them.
Yep.
Oh, don't take that thing.
Right.
Like, well, there's some science here. There's some other things that are valid, and it's been shown to make some difference in people's life. Instead of providing that education, because it's not covered by insurance, pharma is not pushing it, so doctors are afraid to prescribe it because like they're gonna say, oh, you prescribe a peptide, and it's malpractice or whatever it is. So it's really getting people to a place of you got to find doctors who understand these things and do it safely, because it's a bunch of amino acids. That's what the point I was trying to get to, that are connected together, okay? And they have to be stable. So for example, BPC 157 is like 15 amino acid sequence that are together. And if you get it somewhere else and it's not stable, you can have a 5 of that 15 and a 10 of that fragment. And you have no idea what that 10 amino acid is doing in your body, or the 5. Or they can break down into multiple things. It could be a 3, a 2, and a 10.
Yeah.
So it's really not worth it to do those things. A lot of times young people, they have resilience, they're healthy, they can kind of tolerate some of these things, but it's really not worth it. If you really care about your health, then you need to talk to a doctor who understands these things. And a lot of times, the point you make, people don't even need this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that even something that you need to spend your money on?
Exactly.
Maybe let's get you to sleep better. Okay.
Right.
And if there's a peptide that can help you sleep better, maybe that's what you need instead of trying to take something else that I say,
Exactly. And otherwise, it's kind of like a shot in the dark.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why it's just like I'm a big proponent of like one of the big things that I almost preach about now.
Yeah.
Is just like, yo, get your labs done.
Yeah. Have a baseline.
Get your labs done so you at least know what's going on.
Yes.
But see, the difficulty is, and it's tough because this is the problem I ran into.
Yeah. Your doctor won't order it.
You know what I mean? They just won't do it.
You're healthy. Why do we need to check
Exactly. It was like, nah, like I know something is off.
Yeah.
Like for me personally, there was something off.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like a small thing either. It was off. And I was just like, but if I didn't take matters into my own hands, if I wasn't training Megan's daughter, if there was a lot of ifs here.
Yep.
So it's like, I can only imagine, and I know I think about this often, what it is for everybody else.
Yes, there is so many people who are suffering unnecessarily, just because the lens through which what we do in medicine is done is very restricted.
Yeah.
If you're young, you come in, you look muscular, you work out, whatever, and even if you haven't you used to perform at a certain level, and if you're here, to them they're like, oh yeah, most people are down here, so you're here and you're good. No, we want to optimize function.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people where they get dismissed, they're not heard, and that creates a lot of problems because all this disease that people develop in their life, they start in your 20s. Like it doesn't just show up overnight. Okay. And we go to the very point. If something is not working in your body's just gonna adapt. It's just gonna downgrade to a certain level. And that full potential of what your health could look like and an impact that you can make on others becomes squandered.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you don't have health, you can't do it. And also the other thing when it comes to labs is really labs that are meaningful. Because also a lot of times the labs that we do and understanding how you interpret that lab is super important, okay? The average of those labs is the average of the sick people.
Yeah.
So when you go and you go, oh, your lab, this is normal. And no, we want it to be optimized.
Yeah.
So it's also important to get things that are optimized. And more importantly, there's new testing that we can do that actually predicts more of like a process that's going to happen. For example, people come to me and they may have diabetes or whatever. They're trying to check their labs and they just check glucose. Oh, well, your glucose is fine. Okay. Or they'll check A1C. Yeah, A1C is like, okay. But they don't check fasting insulin. They don't check HOMA-IR. They don't check beta function of the pancreas. So like the things that actually goes wrong a long time before the other markers become dysregulated are not checked. So there's all this in-depth analysis that needs to be done, and he becomes a doctor who's interested in solving health. Okay? Because if we just want to prescribe metformin, then I don't need to look at all these other things that we're talking about. Okay, and a lot of times when we see those things, it's all lifestyle, nutrition, metabolic issues, diabetes, hyperlipidemia, cholesterol, all of that, nutrition and lifestyle. So it's really important to get to a doctor who understands that and really tailor things specific for you. We can all be optimized because we're in this environment. The food is not good. You go to Europe. I have patients, right? They have pain. When in America they eat food, they all swell up. They go to Europe, they eat food, they're comfortable. They're out there even drinking wine and doing all of these things. They feel better.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The food, so much junk in there. Yeah. So it becomes necessary to kind of like go beyond and really help people out.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate that we don't do that, but there's doctors out there who are really getting people to be healthy. And it's all about optimizing, not being in some normal range of sick people.
Yeah,
so that's important.
Yeah. No, that's a really good point.
Normal is not optimized.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like, and I don't want to just be like, oh, I appreciate you for that. I appreciate you, but like that's another really big point, and that's another reason why I appreciate you, though, for real, because it's like you're thinking how I would.
Yeah.
Next level.
Yep.
Like, it's cool being here.
Yeah.
But I want, like, here, like, constantly grow. Because the thing is, what I noticed, a lot of people will not even attempt to go to that next level, right? Because of comfort.
Yep.
But also it requires a different kind of work.
Yeah.
It requires a different kind of
Yeah.
work. And that's not to say that people are lazy. I think a lot of this is fear.
Yep. It all goes down to fear.
It's a lot of fear out there, man. A lot of fear. So part of what I try and do here at the studio in general is eliminate as much fear as possible.
Yeah.
Through like fear of movement, fear of re-injury, fear
Yep.
of emotionally dealing with something, fear
Yep.
of mentally running into something that you can't
Yep.
handle. Like all of those little aspects, and that's what makes me a coach, right? Like a coach in the truest sense of a word, because it's just like we're not just worried about the barbell, right?
Yeah.
It's everything. And I'm preparing you for everything. Fear of fear of all that stuff takes people out. I mean, look,
Yep.
it even affected me.
Yes, doing the same thing, and that's the same thing I also do is like really educating people.
Yeah.
Because the fear, if you don't know enough about something and it's caused an injury in somebody, of course you don't want to do that. And it's also the fear is coming from the people who are supposed to advise you on it. Okay, the doctors are saying don't ever do that. I have patients, I have them on testosterone or whatever. They go, don't do testosterone, don't do all of these things.
Yeah.
But there's no science to support it. You just heard something that kind of influenced that. So really educating helps people to understand, because what we have in medicine that I think is great is like when we go to medical school, they really teach us to be really risk averse. So risk averse that even if there's interventions that is actually going to help people and there's all this like a small risk, we don't even do it. Okay. So when it comes to and that is in the context of when people have sickness.
Yeah.
Okay. So that should not be applied to everybody. That's the thing that we do. Like we just kind of have this lens and this is how we do it. But if somebody's healthy, yeah, they can take a lot of rest because there's all these other benefits. Okay. Plus, if I can optimize their physiology from, lifestyle modification, then they can, they'll have more resilience.
Yeah.
Your body have a lot of resilience. Okay. So it's about kind of getting the body, because we're always under attack in the environment, everywhere else, the food, everything else, right? But when your body have the resilience and it has the energy and all of those things, it's able to take care of it. So the fear piece become really educating people, because I have a perspective, right, as a doctor that, not like you're experimenting with people, but I see what all of these things do to people. That I can say in your case, because everybody's different, because somebody's story is not going to be your story. Because a lot of times people say, oh, I know somebody who did this and this happened to them. Well, you're not the same thing, right? And then sometimes they go, oh, well, this is not natural, or this is natural. Natural doesn't mean it's safe, because sometimes people confuse that, okay? And what is safe for you may not be safe for me.
Right.
So it's always important to kind of have somebody who can provide that education, remove that fear, kind of the same thing that you're talking about your people here, the psychological fear. Because part of it is like, if you don't believe in a therapy and if you have some worries about something, it doesn't work as well.
Doesn't work
Okay?
as well. Yep.
The brain is that powerful.
Yep. For sure. This is look. I'm so glad that I was able to have you on for the injectables talk, right? Because it's just there's so many different nuances to the topic itself, right?
Yep.
And there's so many different things that people don't fully realize, right?
Yeah.
So let's keep going down this road a little bit here, right?
Okay.
Now, but let's get a little bit more specific, right?
Yep.
We're talking about me now.
Yeah. Okay.
I want my time.
Let's talk about you. What questions you got?
Let's talk
Yep.
about me.
Yep.
So I let everybody on the pod know that I had some issues dealing with some things and stemming from a surgery, and it was
Yep.
supposed to be a simple surgery, but I got hopped up on so many different things.
Yeah.
I was a wreck.
Yep.
And I couldn't it was weird because it only showed up in certain markers, but all the base ones
Everything looks fine.
was pristine.
Yep.
My doctor was just like, "You're 18 years old."
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm just like,
But I don't
"What?"
feel good.
It's
Yeah.
like, nah. Like, no, literally, based on all of these, you're 18 years old. And I'm just like, bet, but that's not really
What
how
you
I
feel.
feel.
Yeah.
Like, something's off. And I'm really in tune with my body. Something's off.
Yeah.
It was like, well, the problem is I can't run anything. Well, why can't you? Well, because you're 18 years old, basically.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, so you need a reason for me besides just saying like I know something's off.
I don't feel good.
I don't feel great at all. So all that I'm doing all this running around, end up at your doorstep, you know,
Yeah.
through a bunch of ifs,
Yeah.
what ifs,
Yeah.
right? End up at your doorstep basically and just like, hey, help me out. We go through the initial assessment. We go through the whole process. Now we get to the point. Here's what I suggest for you. It was, like I said, humanin, thymosin beta 4, and CJC epimorelin.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let's break that down a little bit.
Yeah.
Why those three at that point in time? So, because I'm telling
Yeah.
everybody, I'm taking them along the journey with me
Yes.
a little bit here, right?
Yep.
And then we'll just talk about where I am now. What's the next
Yep.
plan, right? So, those three up front. What was with those?
Yes, we're going to talk about that. But briefly, I also want to talk about something that you just mentioned.
Yeah.
Right? Your primary care doctor or whoever doctor did the labs and they go, everything is fine. So
Sure.
it's always about looking at multiple lenses.
Mm.
Okay. So if I'm looking here, I can see this. But if I'm looking here and looking for this, I don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's limitation to all the lenses. So we have to listen to our patients.
Yeah.
If the lab says fine, they're telling you something else. You got to look somewhere else. Okay. So anyway, that's something that we got to do a broader sense of assessment.
Yeah.
But coming to your main issue. So when you came to me, it's all about really understanding where you are and what are your goals. Okay. It's not about me. It's about you. Okay. So your goals were you wanted to get back into competition. You were doing really well before, and then you got on antibiotics. All of these things that really mess up your system. I know your mitochondria was messed up.
Yeah.
From all the medicines, from all the antibiotics, microbiome, everything is off. Okay, your body was not able to heal faster. So we did this lab, we got some markers. In fact, your testosterone was pretty good.
Yeah.
You didn't have, even though you have high testosterone, there was other things that were not like functioning well. So my thought process was, okay, how do we get you to a place where you can actually recover faster? Because that was the limitation for you.
Yeah.
You were working out, but you get so sore. If you do it 3 days or 4 days, I think you told me what it was. Like,
Yeah.
and previously, you could just go.
Yeah.
And that was not an issue before the whole surgery thing. So the plan was, let's figure out a way to get you to recover faster. Okay. Let's fix your mitochondria because I knew your mitochondria has been injured. There's all these medicines that you were taking, they all poison your mitochondria. Okay. And because you were also not recovering faster, like it's a function of your mitochondria, your energy system. Like when you create a stress on your body, it creates all this waste. And actually the waste is also signaling molecules. They actually, when you exercise, the benefit of the exercise is not when you exercise. It's all this myokines and all these peptides that your body makes to communicate to get the benefit. So the idea was, let's figure out a way to get you to recover faster so you can do more on your own. Let's work on deep delta sleep because a lot of these growth hormones that your body needs that I'm giving to you, your body makes it when you get to deep delta sleep. Okay? So let's work on sleep. Let's work on mitochondria. Let's work on recovery. Let's work on all of those things. And in your case, because you were doing all of these healthy things, we put that on and you saw the difference.
Yeah.
And then it become, okay, here we are. And then we got to a certain level where things have kind of plateaued. And we're going to talk about what we do next if you're open to that. But it was really try to help with the recovery, get your body to be functioning well. And then once you do those signals too, as you talked about, the great thing about peptide is not a medicine that you take forever. A lot of these medications that we have out there is designed so you can take it every day.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need certain things every day, okay? But a lot of things are designed to just like block the symptom and you have to keep the underlying problem is not solved. Peptide actually solved the underlying problem.
Yeah.
We fixed the sleep and now your body's like, okay, I got this.
Here's a question for you real quick. Because this brings up a very recent situation. So is there a situation or is there a case in your eyes, from your perspective, where somebody would be prescribed one of the GLP-1s for the rest of their life?
Yes, because GLP-1s were actually designed for people with diabetes.
Right.
Okay, so if somebody have diabetes, they could be on GLP-1s for life. But people that have diabetes, especially type 2 diabetes, if you can get them on GLP-1s, if you can get them on lifestyle changes, you can actually reverse diabetes.
Okay.
So it's easy to just give somebody a pill and not talk about nutrition, not talk about all of these things. Because if you do those things, you can.
Yeah.
The way to prevent diabetes is when you eat, you move. When you eat, you move. If you can do that, you can prevent diabetes. So all of those things are reversible. But in the context of how things work, we just give you a pill and we stay on. So yeah, those people are people who needs it. And then there is also a place where, and in fact, this is what I think is, I just came back from a longevity conference. That's also one thing I'm interested in.
Yeah.
And one of the discussion we have in is like GLP-1s, actually, we feel like in the next 5 years or so, they actually become anti-aging therapy, but not the same dose as losing weight.
Right.
Small doses. And in fact, when we're trying to lose weight, the problem is that they escalate the dose way too fast. Go slow. That's how you prevent the muscle loss. You still get all this benefit. You calm down the inflammation. You get the insulin working better. You get them making better decisions. You give them time to do all of those things.
You know how I look at it?
Yep.
I look at it exactly the same as a diet,
Yeah.
right? It's like you're cutting calories. Okay. Normally your maintenance is at 2,200. You're
Yep.
not going to go to 1,200 in a
Yep.
day, because if you do, you're going to lose
Yeah.
a lot of lean muscle tissue. And that's just, for me in my field and what I do,
Muscle.
muscle is gold.
Yep.
That's you preserve muscle. You don't lose muscle.
Yep.
And it's like, so, but if you go 150 calories for a few weeks, then you end up being 200 calories for a few weeks.
Yep.
Like you ease it in, but you just don't go from 2,200 maintenance to 1,200.
Yes.
It's like, that's the whole crash diet idea. So, because I've seen that a lot too, where they will apply this crash diet idea to Ozempic use
Yeah.
and
Yep.
suffer the consequences, right? So
Absolutely.
it's just like, it's a very interesting thought, but that's the way I look at it. I look at it as like, okay, well, you wouldn't crash diet like that, would you? I mean, you shouldn't.
No, you shouldn't. Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. So there's right ways to do things, and there's definitely wrong ways to do things.
Yeah, for
A
sure.
lot of times, it's done wrong, and it's also about individualizing and seeing where people are and what else do they need to kind of help them
Right.
do better with whatever the Ozempic or whatever you're doing is.
Right. So we're here and we're just sitting there, and I'm like, all right, cool. I needed all this optimization because
Yep.
I had the foundation.
Yep.
And it was locked. It wasn't even like I had all of the habits.
Yep.
I just was like, it still
moving
didn't
up.
feel right, and I was very confused by it. Like, you remember that?
Yeah,
initial,
yeah,
I'm
you're
just
like,
like,
yeah.
I don't know what's going on, man. Like,
Yeah.
I'm doing this. I'm lifting out of my mind and da and nothing, and I can't recover worth a darn, right? Like, so we get to that point. All my labs come back. I'm good. I'm
Yep.
great. I feel great. I'm like lifting.
Yeah.
And I did put on some additional muscle,
Yep.
but that got me back to where I was before.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Which tells me, like, don't get me wrong, it feels great.
Yep.
Right. I'm back.
Yep.
Right. Even my lifts are up, like they're back. Right. Like I'm just like, oh yeah, no aches, no pains, nothing like that. No knee pain, no shoulder pain.
Yeah.
Nothing. Now, is that where I want to be?
Yeah.
And that's where we just recently had a talk where it's just
Yeah.
like, well, no, because now I'm at a spot where I can actually dream, kind of like, there's that possibility.
Yeah.
That's open to me. That possibility, that's open
Yeah.
to me. So it's funny because like now the game plan is shifting a little bit.
Yes, it's always shifting.
Yeah. So let's talk about that a little bit, right?
Yep.
And I don't mind, right?
Yeah.
I'm letting them know.
Absolutely.
Right.
So we've got to a point, and this is, it's always a journey.
Yeah.
Okay. And to the point of we can always optimize.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So from where you were before, you've optimized to a certain level. Now we know there's another level that we can go to, but
Mm-hmm.
we've kind of like plateaued. Okay. And then it becomes, what else can we do to your goal of really want to add on more muscle, lean
Mm-hmm.
muscle, okay? And there's multiple ways to signal the cell. We can use nutrition. You're doing it.
Yep.
You're eating as much protein as you can. We can use exercise. You're pushing the weight. We've done some peptides. You're doing all of that. But yet now we're here. Okay, so what else? So it's all about what else can we put into the mix to get you to the next level. Okay, so when I talked to you, the discussion was like, let's figure out there's other peptides that potentially also helps a lot more with muscle building. So we talked about one of them is PEG MGF, which we are trying to see if we can kind of source that for you. We also, even though we talk about follistatin as something that is like not well studied, but it could be something that could be helpful. Okay, and then the other things that we can even bring into is even looking at even testosterone, which we had that discussion about.
Right.
So there's multiple ways. So when you get to a certain level and we've optimized everything and we're not seeing anything else, what else can we talk about? Okay. And when I am thinking about those things, in my lens, for me, it's all about really optimized health. So I'm thinking about molecules. What can we use? Because if we want to get you, we can talk about anabolic steroids. We can get you to build muscles very fast. Okay. But that's not what we want to get to. I'm trying to optimize your health. So the other thing I'm thinking about is like maybe testosterone.
Yeah.
Because not only is testosterone going to help you with muscle, it's going to improve cardiac health. It's going to improve brain health.
Yep.
It's going to improve recovery.
Right.
It's going to improve calmness and energy and mood and all of these things. So it's really understanding how these molecules or whatever it is, what are they doing in the body as a doctor. And that's why I think cellular medicine is important. If you understand what the cell is using it for, you have androgen receptors everywhere on your immune cells.
Yeah.
Okay? And then the other part of that equation is like, okay, coach, when you were 20, you were just rocking it. Okay? But where we are, 40, is that where you are now or 39?
Yeah, I'm 40. I'm
40. Okay. You get there. Okay. So certain things have changed. Okay.
Yeah.
So and as we age, all of those things, so we become aging is always working against us. So what else can we do to kind of slow down the aging process?
Yeah.
And testosterone slows down aging. So not only is that going to help you with potentially putting on more muscle, but I'm also extending health span. I'm also addressing well-being and mood and all of these things. So there's a place for that. And even when it comes to even the anabolic steroids, there's a place for them also, okay? So the anabolic steroids, they actually designed, there's FDA-approved anabolic steroid that we use to help with people who have muscle wasting. So nandrolone is one.
Yeah.
And basically they are synthetic derivatives of testosterone, okay?
Got it. Yeah.
So that's all they are. They're just derivatives of testosterone. And testosterone works by having an effect on your androgen receptors. So these are all the sexual health thing and, male, all of that. And then it also has anabolic effect. The anabolic effect is like building muscle.
Yeah.
And how that works is it helps to promote lean muscle production. It helps with retention of nitrogen. So that helps you with recovery. Okay. It also helps to increase your red blood cells so you can carry more oxygen and have more energy. It also helps to block glucocorticoids, steroids, your own, because steroids are catabolic. They break down muscle and you want to build muscle, okay? And then it also helps to modulate neurotransmitters, so mood. So that's why people, can get, aggressive or whatever. But even that, there's some myths there, okay? It becomes how much people are doing. Okay?
Right.
So it has all of this other benefit, and we also have to look at the risk of side effect, okay? The difference between testosterone and the anabolic steroids is that the anabolic steroids have maybe they'll have one. The ratio between anabolism and androgen effect is, nandrolone, for example, is 100 times anabolic and 1 androgenic. Okay.
Yeah.
So that will help you build muscle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it has other benefit. We need to know how to, you can have side effects of retaining fluid and doing it for a specific amount of time. Okay. So there's all of these things, all of these signals that we can use. People that are abusing these things use way too much. That's when they start having cardiac issues.
You got to repeat that.
That's when they start having, shrinking testicles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's when they start retaining fluid. There's all of these things. Bad skin, acne, all of these things. So all of those things can be done well. You just need to have guidance with it. There's a place. There's nothing necessarily that's bad in medicine. It's just it's all about dosing.
Yeah.
Water. Too much water can kill you. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's all about signaling the cell in a way that it takes that information to do what it needs to do. So I think, we're at a place where we got to figure out, what fits. And it's also about comfort level. We talked about this, right? People need to feel okay, is this something that I want to get into? Because I think of it as a doctor as okay, this is something that's great. It doesn't mean you have to do it.
Right.
Okay. It has to be I vibe this. I think this will help me. And it's just my place to kind of provide that education and protecting you. And I will not do anything that's going to harm my patient.
Right.
So when people are coming to me with these things and I'm doing them for them, people will come to us like, especially, I do pellets, I do all of these things for testosterone, and people, they're so worried. It's like, I got you.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are not doing anything in this office. We are trying to optimize your health.
Right.
Okay? And they will come in and even taking something that is actually harmful to them. They're on like synthetic hormones that are causing cancer, progestins.
Yeah.
And I'm giving them bioidentical hormone and they're worried about what I'm doing. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, because I'm not an OB-GYN or I'm not any of those things, but I'm a cellular medicine doctor. I'm focusing on optimizing health,
Right.
irrespective of what's going on. So I think, I kind of went around, but the idea is like, what else can we do to, in your case, to kind of help push there? So there's some options that we can look into,
Right.
and really, providing that education and people to understand. But the point is, anabolic steroids is not the same as peptides. Peptides are totally different.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And it's also about the dosing. And people that are out there injecting themselves with anabolic steroid, they're doing way too much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you don't want to do that.
Yeah, for
Okay.
sure, for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, there's guys that are like they had I forgot. Remember Rich Piana? He
Yeah.
had like a
Cardiomyopathy, some type of
yeah,
heart disease.
and his heart was like 2.5 times the size of
It's
a
too
regular
much.
human
Yeah.
heart.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, how did your heart get bigger? Like
Because
that's-
it's blowing everything up,
That's
and you
crazy.
don't want that. And then the other thing too, there's a lot of myths, and it's like, oh, you take steroids, you're gonna bump up. No,
Yeah.
you still have to work out.
you still have to work. Yeah.
You still have to work out to make
Yeah.
it happen. Yeah,
But there is definitely a stigma attached to it. There's
a
definitely
lot of
attached to it.
stigma, and even in
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
fact, that's kind of even the same thing with testosterone, right? Because in that space of bodybuilding, that's kind of what was used. So even its health benefit in regular people who are not doing that type of supra physiologic, too much
Yeah.
of the dosing, get also lumped into
Yeah,
as
yeah.
a drug effect.
Yep,
Okay,
yep.
so it's all about the dosing, and it's about making sure that you're in front of somebody who understands it, and more importantly, is it the right thing for you?
Right.
Because even if it's work and it has all this benefit, and it's not the right thing for you, you don't want to do it.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, and that's why I appreciate the game plan that was set for me, because like, and I mean, and I guess we'll dig into it just a little bit more
Yep.
what the actual game plan is, right?
Yes.
Like, because I got some thinking to do.
Yes, and then the
Right.
alternative to that is like, okay, because initially what we did was your CJC, we're just doing it one time at nighttime, okay? But we can also dose that differently.
Yeah.
So we can dose. So now the plan is the alternative to any of those plans that we talked about. If we don't get access to them, if we want to pause any of those things, is to do the CJC twice a day. We can even do it 3 times a day.
Really?
You can pause it and just get more, like to build it more. You just have to make sure it's away from food. Okay.
Got it.
So there's
Yeah.
ways to kind of dose it to get specific. It's all about the frequency, the dosing. All of these signals are there. It's about the timing, the dosing, and the
Okay.
frequency of it, and the
Okay.
duration.
Interesting. Yeah. So it's like, and that is a pathway, right? So we have additional peptides that target different things, right?
Yep.
And that's one pathway. The other pathway is testosterone.
Yep.
And then the final pathway is to double or triple up on the CJC. Is that 10 units a pop?
So that will be 10 units.
Okay.
And you can also do testosterone and the peptides. You
Yeah.
can put it all together.
Yeah.
You can stack all of those things.
Really,
Yeah.
really, without any like.
Any
Like
side effect, anything, because they all work in different mechanism of action. They're all going to be
Gotcha.
synergistic, okay?
Gotcha.
And even if you add in those things together, then maybe your need of testosterone will actually go down. Okay?
Yeah.
Because there's also, there's, all of these things have risks and side effects, right?
Yeah.
It's relatively safe. Too much of testosterone may implicate, depending on how you also take it. So the other thing that's also important for people to understand is when it comes to hormones, how you take it matters. If you're taking a pill, the risk of liver disease is high. And even now they have new pills that are, it's not that bad. But if you're doing an injection, you don't have that risk. You eliminate that risk. But you also increase the risk of red blood cells. So there's all of this route of administration. If you're doing topical, it has specific benefit versus specific. So it's all these nuances. It's not like all testosterone cause liver disease.
Yeah.
All testosterone cause heart disease. In fact, testosterone is protected for the heart. That recently, as of 2023, the FDA came up. There used to be a black box warning on testosterone that says it causes heart attack or stroke. Okay,
Ooh, yeah.
that has been removed. Okay, because like the studies have been done, and for FDA to come up and take out, like change something, it's like even unheard of. Okay,
Yeah.
because this has all this benefit. And I recently had a patient a female, And by the way, female need a lot of testosterone. Okay,
Yep.
they have more androgen receptors than estradiol receptors or estrogen receptors.
Yeah.
And I put this lady on because it's helping with her bone health, her metabolic health, everything else, osteoporosis, everything. And her doctor told her like, no, it's gonna cause a heart attack. Okay, it's based on old science.
So
Okay?
they still there.
So they're still there. So it's really there's so much that's changing, and I think that's why I feel so privileged and I feel so honored to be in a place where I'm connecting with people who are in the forefront of these things. I'm going to conference. I'm always educating myself and finding the right solutions for my patients. And that's just like the joy I get. It's like, oh my gosh, now we know something better. Now we can do
Yeah.
better. Okay, and there's always something that we can do.
Yeah,
Right.
for sure. That's great. Look, man, I'm not even sure. Like, I pretty much have the game plan. I got to think about it a little bit,
Yeah.
but it's one of those things where I still have certain goals in mind.
Yep.
And you know, I told people before. I think I told the podcast before. If not, then this is brand new news, and my bad. But it's just like I was thinking about making another run at getting my pro card,
Man.
and it was like I was so close before,
Yep.
and it was just like so with a year. And here's what happened: so I was in a national show, just missed out,
Yep.
and I'm like, all right, cool. And I wasn't even like super upset about it.
Yeah.
I was more so like, okay, I need to take some time off to just
Build.
mash. Let me just build.
Yeah.
So then I start that process, but then I had that surgery.
Yep.
All gone.
Yeah.
All of it was gone. And I'm just like, well, all right, well, I guess that's out the window. But we get to this point where it's just like,
No,
you know,
man, we can get there.
Yeah.
I think I'm just waiting for you to be ready.
Yeah.
I'll get you on some things that's gonna get you there. And we're gonna do healthy things, man.
Yeah.
I think it's a personal decision, but I am here to guide you, and we can do this safe.
Yeah.
And you can because it's a lot of work and it's dedication, and you have it.
Yeah.
It's just like it's not easy to like get all these muscles defined and all of that. I mean,
Yeah.
you have to be on it. Nutrition, everything is like precise.
Yep.
Okay. But
To
we
the
need the push.
number.
We need the push.
Yeah.
And I can give you the push.
Yeah.
I got the drugs. You got the push, and I got the peptides. I got the other things. Yeah.
But it's awesome stuff, though. It's awesome stuff, and it really does kind of. And look, it's been a process for me because I had to expand my thinking.
Yep.
Right, I had to expand my thinking a little bit because I held some pretty hardcore biases.
Yeah.
You right, and it's just like, and we all do.
We do have
right?
biases.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You
So
just have to be aware of them. Yeah.
Right. And this one was one of them because, peptides in general, I'm seeing more of the positive things that they can do than not.
Oh, they're great.
Yeah.
They
And
fix
it's just
the gut.
like,
yeah.
and it's funny because I think I know, I kind of fell a little bit for the what the detractors were saying.
Yeah.
It's like, well, it causes this, it causes that, and you're just using it for this, and you did blah 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 blah, and that kind of got into my head.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, I never really looked at why the detractors said what they said.
Yeah.
And then when I finally started to look at why the detractors said what they said, I found out it came down to they are losing money.
Yeah. Exactly. There's a lot of competing interests.
Yeah.
Okay? And the competing interest is pharma. In fact, we had all these peptides that were really getting people to get healed. And
Yeah.
that's what we want to do. I want to heal people. Okay?
Yeah.
And a couple years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, FDA came in and said we can't use any of this. They banned all these peptides. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay? And those have not actually caused any harm. Normally, the FDA comes in when there's like a harm happening to somebody, like, stem cells, other things that people have done in the past where it created some type of hospitalization or whatever. There was none of that. It's just like because this is it was becoming way too popular and people are getting better. People are feeling better. And the thing is, it's one of those things that, peptides are also like endogenous things. We make peptides, so it's hard to put a patent on a peptide. Okay? So nobody's making a whole lot of money on those peptides.
Dig into
Okay?
it. Dig into
so
it.
that's the problem with peptides, where it's confusing and nobody studies it, right? So that's why there's like all these animal studies, but we don't have a lot of human studies. Nobody's financing it because normally it's pharma who wants to put it together. And even if you do the human studies, you can't put a patent on it. Your
Right.
body already makes it. It's something that I think it's a little bit unfortunate, and there's always competing interest, and it's also sometimes, these things don't work in vacuum.
Yeah.
You got to do the work.
Still.
Sometimes people don't want to do the work, and then they go, and it's also really important to consider who you give your agency to. Okay. In your instance, right? Because we all have our biases, and you don't want to give your agency to anybody. But if I come to you and you are a trainer, you have all this expertise, I can't come up here with my doctorate degree and expect that I know more than you. Okay. So sometimes, and then the only way I can come here and trust is that, like, first of all, I have to have that trust.
Yep.
Okay. So people go to doctors. Not that doctors know everything, but if there's a trust, and if you have somebody that you can have that trust with, then you can, because that is not your experience, right? I know a lot about these things than somebody who is not that. I don't know a lot about training. I don't know a lot about maybe nutrition or something else. So you also have to figure out who you give your agency to, and you always have to give your agency to somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, you have the sovereignty, whatever information but you have to trust that somebody have to present the information in a way that, I trust this person, because yeah, sometimes we can do research, we can read all of these things, but it's also, there's all these nuances that if you're not in that space,
Yeah.
it's hard to kind of make sense of. If you
Right.
put anything on ChatGPT or you put anything on Google, anything you're looking for, you're gonna find something.
Yep.
What is that research done? Who was it done on? Who financed the research? There's all these nuances. A lot of people don't even know how to appraise literature. Okay.
Yep.
If you study 10 people and they did something, you don't go around and everybody, oh, it worked. No. And a lot of supplements and all of these things. So it's really important for us to be the guardians of navigating people instead of saying, don't listen to that, don't do that. So people bring stuff to me all the time. I read and I'm always learning from my patients.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of those things. And I think it becomes really getting to the right people who can guide you.
Yep.
We all need guides.
Yeah.
You just have to trust.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You preaching out here, man.
Yep.
You preaching out here, because that's
Yeah.
it in a nutshell. That is
Yeah.
absolutely it in a nutshell. And look, I almost wish I said it, but I'm so glad you said that, because it's such an important thing. Be careful of who you give your agency to.
Absolutely.
Right? Because it's just like,
Oh, yeah.
people who come in here, they're safe.
Yep.
They are safe. They trust me because I give them a reason to trust me.
Yep.
Right? I don't just sit there and say, like, hey, look, I could have said to some of the clients, like, no, don't take Ozempic. Why? Da 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 da. And I was like, no, well, here's the good, here's the bad.
Yep.
Here's where I got this from. Here's my understanding so far.
Yep.
But even my understanding, I had to surpass that.
Yep.
So then I got to go back to the books. I got to go back to the studies. I got to talk to the right people. It's like, hey, look, what's the deal with
Yeah.
this? Because
Yeah.
I have a couple clients. I will do it for one
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
I have a client who's this, and this, and they're thinking about doing this. Is
Yep.
that good, bad? What do you think? What are your thoughts? Which way should we go with it? And I'll gather that data, gather that information, and I'm like, here, look, you can do this or you can do this.
Yeah.
Pros, cons here, pros, cons
cons
here.
here. Yeah.
All right, now make a decision.
Yep.
Now, if you need my help to make the decision, this is what I think. But I'm not going to influence any part of this,
Yeah.
right? It's like, you make the decision, and my job in this case is to be there for whatever decision you make. Whatever decision you make, I got your back.
Yep.
And it's so important.
Yep.
That's a quality, and I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm not tooting anybody's horn. I'm just saying it's a
Yeah.
rare quality that I don't see, that
Yep.
I make sure each day that I wake up, that's what I'm doing, right, for
Yeah.
someone. Where it's just like, if they are coming to me, big or small,
Yep.
no matter the issue, no matter what it is,
Yeah.
they're coming to me because they trust me. I don't take that for granted.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I think that's part of what makes you unique, because it seems like you don't take that for granted.
Not at all. I mean, and in fact, that trust has to be earned.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
And it's really making people to know that you care.
Yeah.
If people understand that you care, you can have all this expertise. I can have all these degrees on my whatever, and if people come to me and I don't listen to them and they don't, it doesn't vibe. So it's all about, really getting people to feel heard. And one thing that I would say, kind of the same thing that you're saying, is what people say about me online in my reviews is like, I listen to them. Okay. Of course, there's things that I can improve. I can improve the plan and things, and I'm still learning from all of that, but I will listen. And when people feel heard, that trust starts. And then when that trust starts, the healing begins.
Yeah.
A lot of the medicine that we do is placebo, okay? If they believe that they're going to get better, they believe you're a good doctor, they get better results. And this is well studied, it's, scientific. It's not just, saying those things. So
Yeah.
definitely having that trust, very, very important.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Look, man, there's this one thing. So, I've only had one guest, and it
Yeah.
happened to be my wife. But
Yep.
there was this thing that we did at the end, and I'm gonna give it to you for a little bit. If there's anything that you want to say to anybody listening right now,
Yeah.
like we talked about a lot of stuff,
Yes.
right? So don't feel bad if it's just like, nah, we talked about a lot. I don't got nothing else to say.
Oh, I got plenty to say.
Yeah, like I said,
Just
the
teasing,
doctor me.
Yes. Always
Talking for
different.
days. But it's just like, so, this will be the moment,
Yep.
whatever it is that's pressing, whatever it is that you feel that people are struggling with, that you see, and you can offer some words to kind of just get them to move along a little bit better,
Yeah.
make their journey a little bit easier. Now's the time.
Yeah, so really thanks for the opportunity to be here and kind of talk and get to know you more.
Yeah.
And to also talk to your audience. And as a doctor who's interested in health, what I want people to understand is like, where there's ways, healthcare, as we call it, is solving sickness, okay? And there's a place for that. We need hospitals. When something bad happened to you, you need to go to a hospital. But it's not designed to solve health, okay? Solving health and solving sickness are two different things. Most doctors in our training through residency, where do we train? In hospitals. We're dealing with sick people. So most of us forget how to solve health, okay? So if you're really interested in optimizing your health, you need to find a provider that understands how to solve health, okay? And those are not common. You have to kind of dig a little bit to find, okay? And before you do that, it's about the fundamentals: nutrition, exercise, sleep, stress response. And a lot of times people are doing all of those things, even in your case, and they're still not getting to where they need to be, okay? So there's always a place for a guide. And you want a guide who understands you, who understands your goals, where you're coming from, and who wants to be on a journey with you. It is always a journey, okay? And there's so many things that we can do to improve people's health. There's so many unnecessary suffering, side effects from medications. A lot of things that I see specifically as people get older, because I'm interested in aging, because the risk factor for any disease, cancer, stroke, metabolic issues, diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, all of those things goes up as we age.
Yeah.
And now we understand why we age. There's a way to slow it down. The goal is not to live forever, but to live healthy. So there's a science to doing that. And a lot of women, this is just for women audience, hormones are a huge part of how to optimize your health, okay? So testosterone, estrogen, it's not just estradiol. Because what I see is I have women that come to me, they've been active their whole life. They get into their 40s and 50s and things are not going as well. They're having all these injuries and they're not sleeping and they have hot flashes, they have everything else. They go to the doctor and they go, well, you're not in menopause yet, so don't, do anything, okay? It affects their mood. Now they put them on antidepressants, okay? They're not sleeping, so they put them on a sleep medicine. Their mood is off. More medications. Medications is having them gain weight, and then they get put on other medicines. They can get put on Ozempic, but they still have depression, they have all of these things.
Yeah.
And the answer is getting to the root cause and solving the hormone deficiency, okay? So definitely finding a doctor who understands all of those. Hormones are very important. Peptides are a great way to solve health. It's not designed necessarily for sickness. There's a place for it, but it's a place to solve health. And it's also one of those things that, what I like about it, because most of us don't want to take medicine. I do peptides because it's not something I have to do forever. I do it for a couple of times and then I back away from it because you give your body what it needs and then it does its work, okay? So peptides are great. There's regenerative therapies. There's all of these things there that can actually help you solve a problem. I'm a pain doctor. And now I can solve autoimmune issues. I can solve microbiome. I can solve all of these things because all of those things are connected. When I solve those things, the pain gets better. And not only does the pain get better, their diabetes get better, their hormones get better. So it's really about getting to the root cause of the problem. And there's doctors out there who understand that. And that's the type of medicine I do, and I'm always learning. I'm open, and I listen to my patients. I'm always learning from people, and I just want people to understand that it's the fundamentals, but you need more. And when you're doing all those fundamentals right, and you're still stuck, you need to find a doctor who can take you to that level, and that's what I do. Okay, so in fact, I love who will be my ideal patient? Somebody who's already going to the gym, somebody who's already seen you. So I love your clients. Come in, right? You're already doing the right things. I don't have to do too much. I do a little bit. Because you already got them. Okay? The foundational things are there. So those people who are doing the right things, sometimes we just got to tweak some things out and get you to be where you are. So I'm open, and we have a practice here in Wayne that take care of people, adult, and we look at the whole system. It's not just like solving your symptom. Okay? And one of the analogy I give to people is when you go to a mechanic. There's two types of mechanics. Your light bulb is out. There's one mechanic who's just going to replace your light bulb and send you on your way. There's another mechanic who's going to say, why is the light bulb out? Is it your wires? Is it your battery? And more importantly, this is a car. What's going to actually kill you if something goes wrong? It's not your light bulb. Is your brakes working? Is your engine working? Is your transmission working? So that's the type of doctor that I am, or that's the type of mechanic. So when you come to me and you tell me, I deal with pain, you have elbow pain, and your glucose is high, and your insulin is dysregulated, and your lipids are over, this is a small issue. I can fix this for you, but I look at the whole system. So it's really also looking at how do we optimize the whole system. And sometimes people are not aware of it. So it's not just patching you up, and that's what we do in conventional medicine. You go in and, you have this one complaint. It's all connected. They just give you an ibuprofen. And the next time you do, you have a liver problem or you have a kidney problem.
Or a kidney problem,
It's all about taking care of the whole person, and that's my approach, and I feel honored to be here. And if anybody is out there who have some limitation with your health, it doesn't matter what it is. I'm all about I can optimize it and get you to the next level.
Right. Awesome. Well, next part, we just make sure to drop off. How do people get in contact with you?
So people can learn more about what I do on my website is Ether Medicine. So it's AETHERmedicine.com. That's a good place. We also have Instagram, and I do some education there. So Ether, AETHER_medicine. You can follow us there. Alternatively, if you're interested in an appointment, you can call the office. It's 484-806-1101. 484-806-1101. Look forward to connecting with some of you.
Awesome. And of course, y'all know I'm gonna put all the stuff in the links and the show notes and all that fun stuff. So y'all, you didn't have to remember all that, and you didn't have to write it down, especially if you're driving. Don't do that, right? So, Dr. C, my man, it's been a blast.
Absolutely, man. I've enjoyed it.
Hey, look, I appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate you too.
All right, and
Awesome.
we're gonna look. We're actually linking up. Soon, right?
Because you're gonna come show me how to do some stuff.
I gotta go to your stomping grounds real quick.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that.
I gotta put on a disguise or something like that. Because they'd be like, "Oh, another trainer's in here."
No.
Yeah,
they'll be fine. They don't, they
Well,
don't got what you got.
Oh,
that's what I'm bringing you there.
I was gonna say because I was about to be up in there and some like some cutoffs or something like that. Like, bro, I don't know. I might buzz out the shoulders or something like that.
Yes, absolutely. Show them what's happening.
Oh man. Well, listen. This was a blast. Like I said, man, I appreciate you, man.
Of course.
Take it easy. Take it easy.
Yes, thank you.
And y'all know what. Look, it was a blast. Y'all know what we normally do, right? Find us on all the socials, all that fun stuff. And I'll do my little thing to cap it off at the end and all that fun stuff. But we will see y'all around. Don't be afraid to reach out, though. Okay.